After 2 to 3 years of not being shown in the manga, Itoshi Sae has finally appeared in the flesh for today's chapter. Also, if you're a fan of the Itoshi brothers, just prepare your tissues for the end of today's chapter. What's going on, everybody? My name is Animasu, and today I'm going to be overviewing Blue Lock chapter 270 with you all, titled Break. If you enjoy staying up to date with Blue Lock or are just deeply in love with Itoshi Sae, make sure to click that subscribe button, comment below your thoughts, and also feel free to join my community Discord to interact with me directly. Without further ado, let's get right into one of the most interesting chapters of the PXG match, at least in my opinion. Today's chapter leads us off as usual with intro text which states, "A monster filled with murderous intent has finally been born. A new massacre begins." With Itoshi now in possession of the ball, we can see his tongue begin to hang out as black aura seeps out from his back. Even Noah and Loki are shown with shocked expressions, because I'm sure both can tell something truly sinister has been unleashed on the field. Ryusei then goes on to scream out at Var, asking if that wasn't a foul just now, but Isagi goes on to admit himself that Rin did touch the ball first. The prodigy is once again bringing out the best within his prey, so that he can then destroy them with even more satisfaction. With a close-up of his tongue hanging out to remind us of what this tick brought previously in the U20 game, Isagi has now realized that Itoshi Rin is about to go all out for this goal. He starts off his rampage by sprinting straight towards Ryusei Jingo, who is sweating like crazy with a shocked expression. He then grits his teeth and curses under his breath, because even Ryusei can recognize the obvious class in Itoshi Rin's play. The duel then officially begins with the two, as Ryusei initiates by lunging forward with his right arm while baring his teeth. Unfortunately for him, Rin foresaw this movement and easily parries his hand while leaning back, readjusting himself to prepare for what comes next. With him then just pushing off Ryusei and knocking him off balance, it seems like Rin has no competition yet. However, Kiyora can be seen lurking behind and dashing at the destroyer. It was a good attempt to sneak up, however with Itoshi Rin having S-tier situational awareness, Kiyora is unfortunately left sliding into nothing as the ball is lifted upward. With Kiyora on the ground at his front and Ryusei still at his back, Itoshi Rin makes the quick decision to pass the ball off instead of risking the loss of possession. At least we've already seen Kiyora contribute more defensively, because in my opinion, he still needs a few more decent plays to warrant a top 23 position. Anyways, Rin's pass then arrives at his target Nanase, who leaps through the air for a clean trap. Taking advantage of this distraction and freedom, Itoshi Rin then sprints forward clear of Ryusei, to then just receive possession right back for a successful 1-2. Waiting at his front, however, is the cyan-haired sadist Yo Hiyori, who lunges into action with a serious expression. Staring him back down though with his tongue hanging out, Itoshi Rin ultimately faces no threat here, as he effortlessly just rainbow flicks over Hiyori before he can even react, to just continue on up the field. His water aura has now even darkened to reflect his destructive urges, as Hiyori even points out how his concentration is on an entirely new level. It's no surprise to us as the reader, however, because just last chapter he ranted about how this mental pressure was exactly what he needed to awaken. Anyways, the perspective then changes over to that of Isagi Yoichi, who is sprinting alongside to the left of Rin while analyzing the situation. He firstly states how Rin's counter allows them no time to catch up, as he continuously moves with both the ball and himself. This allows him to bring out his absolute peak of passing and individual skills, making this one of the deadliest players to allow free on a counter like this. Furthermore, this means Itoshi Rin was always aware and taking note of Isagi Yoichi's movements, because with the field completely centered around him, it's significantly easier to read his and the field's motions. With the next page giving us another dope perspective of Isagi observing Rin, he goes on to group Itoshi Rin into the restriction side of the ego chart. In this situation where he's tied down unlimited, Rin has awakened and is officially using his same abilities. Further than that, unlike Kaiser, Rin performs better when he fixates on someone rather than appealing to the world's expectations. This means that Itoshi Rin is a self-type restriction egoist, which honestly makes sense to an extent. However, the U20 game Berserker Rin seemed to also thrive in an open environment. The restriction seems to be more mental than actual pressure on the field, which to me hints at a future where these egoists realize that there's more to players than just boxing them into categories. Speaking of which, the next page does exactly this, showing a newly updated ego type chart with Isagi's updated data on Rin. One thing I'm curious about is if players further right and further left apply more to the designated typing, because for example, Shidou, Bachira, and Rin are all self-type egoists. However, Bachira is the furthest right of the three and is also the most self-driven. It could also just be coincidental, I'm not sure. Also on the bottom of this page, Isagi is shown crumbling apart in the puzzle pieces while thinking about his number one question. How can he bend this monster Itoshi Rin to his own will? While he's getting closer and closer to reaching that familiar feeling from back in the U20 match, and with us seeing his eyes super focused, this might be the scariest we've ever seen Rin. As we see flashbacks of him absolutely cooking the U20 team, Isagi continues on to realize that Rin enjoyed the thrill of drawing out his opponent's highest form, so that he can then crush them and trample on their dreams. With Rin then approaching 2 more defenders who are forming a wall, Isagi challenges this vomit-sucking bastard to just bring it on. As he continues to sprint neck and neck with him, he wonders how the hell he's supposed to stop someone Itoshi Sae could barely contain. We know the only time Sae even showed any effort within this match was facing off against Rin, so if the new generation member could barely stop him, what the hell is Isagi going to do? With Rin then nutmegging one defender to then just effortlessly glide by the next, Isagi expresses his worry about how they're supposed to handle this monster. I mean, he's literally picking one skill move or direction to dash past every defender, to then continue sprinting full speed towards the goal box. The next page then shows Isagi tapping into his metavision while breaking apart into puzzle pieces, assuring himself that he will be the one to take Itoshi Sae's place. Challenging Rin to bring out his best form, Isagi vows to win this matchup once and for all, and bend Rin to his will. The two finally converge as Isagi throws himself into Rin for a shoulder tackle, causing their respective puzzle and destroyer auras to burst out in tandem. With nobody else near and Gagamaru in sight preparing himself, Isagi challenges Rin to just bring it on as they duel one-on-one to finally figure out who is the true number 1. Surprisingly enough, this chapter flashes back to a child smashing a dinosaur toy into a hero one, breaking its head and arms off into many pieces. This happens to be none other than a young Itoshi Rin, who we can see here holding up his dinosaur toy in the middle of his destroyed room. He seems to be a super messy kid, and he's super immersed into his playtime that we can literally see him drooling down his chin. The young boy, however, takes no notice and just continues on playing, having the best time in the world. Someone then appears from behind him though and proceeds to wipe off his mouth, going on to remind the child that he's once again drooling. This happens to be Rin's older brother Itoshi Sae in the very flesh, who pats his brother's head while asking if it's really that much fun. Rin of course wipes his nose while nodding his head yes, because what child doesn't enjoy playing with toy dinosaurs and shit like that? Sae then proceeds to pick up a piece of the toy off the ground, realizing that Rin has broken off its arms and other limbs through playing. He then goes on to give some brotherly advice, which is that toys are not like humans. Although they can break without bleeding, they won't heal once broken like we can. This causes Rin to look down with a sad expression and apologize to Sae, furthering on to ask if their mom and dad will once again be upset with him. Holding the arm in his hand and thinking for a second, Sae goes on to just completely ignore Rin's question, to instead ask if he'd like to go get some ice cream. In every Itoshi Rin flashback, it quite actually seems like Sae is Rin's main guardian, which really makes me wonder what their parents do for work, or just in general. I know it's Japan and a lot different, but Sae and Rin are like 6 and 7 here, walking alone to get ice cream by the waterfront. One interesting detail here too is that Rin seems to lose on the ice cream stick for the first time in the story, which results in Sae just comforting his brother. Don't worry about it, Rin. Until the day I die, Oni-chan will be on your side. This promise segues us into the final page, which shows both Isagi and Rin midair dueling for the ball. Isagi seems to have tackled Rin in a similar way to Sae in the U20 game, which might be intentional from him due to his adaptability, or it also might be a fun Easter egg from the artist. With Rin's expression though softening here in this final shot, he seems to have some kind of realization about his true ego while remembering the past. Maybe Rin has realized that he's truly a player who thrives in freedom, but that he should let go of the past and just focus on himself. Whatever it may be, we still have outro text for today's chapter which states, "The past with his brother. Rin's ego is unraveling within the woven memories." As that does officially end the chapter 270, all that we're left with until chapter 271 is its upcoming title, being Life is Beautiful. This definitely seems like another Itoshi Rin and Sae chapter considering the whole destroying beautifully thing Sae has going on, but it could also refer to Shidou giving him some advice. That's just my far-fetched ideas though, so make sure to let me know what you think down in the comments. But that sadly being the end of today's video, I just want to thank you all so much for supporting the channel. If you enjoy staying up to date with Blue Lock and enjoy my content, please support the channel by clicking that subscribe button, commenting below your thoughts, and also feel free to join my community Discord so you can interact with me directly. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video, where we'll be discussing the upcoming second season of Blue Lock and all the confirmed information regarding it.